Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Albert Bell.
And I'm Rico Wielands. And welcome to our second episode of the podcast, talking about our histories, why we got into magic, and also what inspired us to start Invisible Practice. Of course, you already heard a bit of it on the past episode, but we invite all of you on a journey and a conversation about magic. So please hold on and enjoy the episode.
That's it. So I have the first question for you,
Mhm.
and this question is very, very easy to make it. I don't know if it's going to be easy to answer the question,
Ooh,
and it is simple: is who is Rico Weyland?
what the fuck, man? This is you just say this is a simple question. This is like Alvaro. Alvaro, I have a simple question for you. What is magic?
That's something interesting. Yeah.
Right? It's very it's in some way it's a very easy question to answer because you can just say who is Rico Weyland? Well, he's a guy that enjoys to read about psychology and about philosophy and mythology, and at the same time he is, I guess, a bit social. Loves music, loves to make music and practice magic. And for some reason, a lot of people like him. um, but on the other hand, Rico Weyland is also someone that on the outside might appear to be very happy very often, but can be very annoyed or sad, but doesn't show it that much. And it's also someone that on some days doesn't want to have sophisticated talks at all and just wants to drink or smoke weed or do bad things. And on some days is a very straight arrow and wants to just like be productive all day. So it's a very difficult question to answer. And also, I mean, I'm very into Jungian psychology, and you can also say, well, who is he? That's a different scenario with everything. Am I at work? Then I might be a completely different person than when I'm at home or when I'm with my girlfriend or when I'm talking to you through a podcast. And of course, I'm giving you an authentic version, unfiltered of myself. At least that's what I'm trying to give you. But in one way or another, that still depends on the social boundaries that we're in. So it's a very difficult question to answer.
Yeah, I can imagine. But with this information, with this info, what do you think you can offer to Invisible Practice community? Because like, because if you compare, the different huge companies that we have in magic market, online magic market, we have like we can have on mind, like different names, of
Well,
big
look, like
brands
for
and
some reason, like with a lot of things, I keep my opinions to myself, right? Unless someone is interested in that. Like if someone is interested in Jungian psychology and the shadow and those kind of things, I'll have a conversation with you about that. Same goes about religion or about what does God mean, or about health or what you should eat and how much you should exercise, and that you shouldn't exercise too much because on paper it looks like a good idea, but in reality you're going to burn yourself out. And if you do that, you're actually going to be worse off and in worse shape than if you wouldn't exercise at all. Um, but for some reason in magic, I have a very strong opinion and I have a lot of knowledge. And I was lucky enough to read the right books, meet the right people on the right times, which have taught me how to think about magic and have made me ask myself the right questions about magic. What kind of magician do I want to be? What kind of magic do I enjoy? What's important for magic? And because I had those opportunities and those peoples, and because I was just a very lucky individual who also, for some reason, has a very strong opinion about magic and is very good in making connections and interpreting information in my own way, which luckily for me, people seem to enjoy the way I interpret information. I was just thinking, you know what, this doesn't feel right. It's We're looking at an art form, and if I look at the desire of a lot of magicians, their desire is purely to get better. And the magic market plays on this. They say, well, what do people want? They want to be better magicians. They want to get great reactions from people. So we're going to sell this to them. We're going to sell them the idea that if you buy this trick or this thing, you're going to get these reactions. They're selling you reactions. They're not really selling you a trick. That's also why videos work so great to sell something. Because on the video, you can see people go crazy and jumping around and going like, oh my God, what the fuck, and you just freaking run around and you think, awesome, I want that. I want to go up to someone and make them react like that. But that's not the case. It's not going to be make you a better magician, because in the end, I could show you a coin vanish, get that reaction, but I could also show you a coin vanish and get the reaction that you have the most magical experience in your life. But this is not something you can force on someone. It's depending on how they feel the day, how they're communicating with you, but also at the same time who you are as a person. What kind of depth is there to you, and how can you how do you come across as a person? Because you can show two people the exact same trick, except better, exact same script, except phrasing even, and they will have different reactions to that trick just because the person that's doing it is a different kind of person. And there's some non-verbal contact which is different. So in some way, it's never the same, right? And we're reacting to the person behind it. So I guess I had that realization, and I just have strong opinion about it. And I see there are some things wrong with the magic market, and either people don't say it or they're afraid to say it. And I think we should just stop doing that, get our shit together, and focus on what's really important. I mean, if you want to buy new tricks, and that's where joy lays for you, and you enjoy buying new tricks, finding these little secrets, and that's fun for you, by all means do that, right? But at the same time, we're selling the idea that this is going to make you a better magician, and that's simply not true. And I don't think people should be going for that.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, definitely. Yeah, but this is, I think it defines your present, right? But what about your future? Where would you like to go, and where do you think you are going? Because sometimes, we have a plan, and what we have on mind, sometimes is different to the things that we really do in real life. So where would you like to go? Where do you think you are going?
Well, I always find that a difficult question to answer, because on the one hand, as an example, when I was younger, I read about professional magicians, right? And I was really obsessed with Vernon. And I also read that Vernon also he wasn't a magician, he was a silhouette artist. And I also asked myself the question, as I started to perform more, some things became less joyful and some performances just sucked, And that's part of it. I mean, also, even if you work a job that you really enjoy, some days are just work. You just have to work. So even then, I thought I want to be a professional magician one day, and I still want to be a professional magician one day, or work in magic, do something with magic. But even when I really was focused on being a professional magician, I had thought, is this the right path? Is this going to be a good thing to do? Am I not making a wrong choice? And would it not be more enjoyable for me to just practice magic and work a 40-hour job per week? I still don't know. It really tortured me a lot to ask those questions to myself, because who are you? What are you gonna do? But the answer in the end for me was still, I don't know. I can only know what I want now and what I aim to do, and I'll just see in the future how this changes. But one thing that I know is I enjoy performing. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy performing on the stage or in a parlor situation or in a close-up scenario where I have a table. I enjoy that more than going from table to table and having to go to people.
Of course.
I mean, I also enjoy that, but I just like it more to bring a message across to people rather than to have to go to people and do interruption magic. That's a concept that how Jared Koff and John Wilson, I heard first of them say, they say interruption magic. You just come to a table and you say, hey guys, I'm more interesting than all of you. Let me show you this thing with cards. I would rather have people come to me and tell them a story and have them come with me through an experience and change someone and show them something meaningful than I can make this car jump to my pocket. I mean, that's cool as fuck, especially if they don't know how you did it. And if you can bring it in an entertaining way, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But I would rather give someone a meaningful experience. So, I mean, if I look at where I want to go, I would want to have my own parlor show or my own close up show and make money, make a living doing that. At the same time, I also really enjoy teaching people. I think there's something profoundly valuable in learning something, experiencing something, and then sharing your experience with those people and to try to see where you can help them with your experience. And again, there my gift for being good in making connections comes into play because I can see you're struggling with this. I am this problem. I read this, so maybe this would work for you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only thing I know. I enjoy performing like the way I told you, and I know I enjoy teaching. And yeah, that's why in physical practice, I enjoy sharing my knowledge and teaching with people. And also it helps me to become a better performer, like also people have to realize what we're doing here
Yeah.
is not set in stone. It's not like we're saying this to you now, so this is the reality, this is the word of God. Invisible practice is the magic God. Don't you get us wrong. If you don't do what we say, you're sinning, you're making a mistake, you're going to magic hell. No, it's like we're just two individuals with an opinion about magic, and even our opinions don't always match, which I'm really glad they don't, because otherwise this would be boring as fuck conversations. Hey, Rico 2, do you enjoy this? Yeah, Rico 2. Yeah, Rico 1. It's really nice. Oh, yeah, right. I think this and this. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, no. um, that would suck, So I would much rather just share those opinions with you and still have everyone realize they are just opinions. They can change. They're what I see in magic, but of course, I'm gonna always tell them to you in the form of an Instagram post or podcast as the truth because I want to make you think and inspire you that maybe there's a better way or maybe this and this can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Well, I think these questions were the three that I really wanted to make you. I have some more,
Mm.
but I don't know if
But
you have
let's
some
go.
questions
Let's go.
related
Let's go to
to.
you first, man. What's your first experience of magic?
Well, I have like many different experiences. When I was, I don't know, maybe five or
Mm.
something like that, and then when I was eight, and then
Were they good?
but sorry.
Were they good?
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the first ones was with my grandpa's brother,
Mm.
and we were at my grandparents, and my grandpa's brother, he was putting a coin on his arm like this,
Mm.
and the coin vanished, you
Mm.
know, and we were like completely shocked, like what is going on here, what the duck
Mm.
crack crack, it was like I ca- and yeah, and my grandpa's brother, he was looking at my sister, one of my sisters.
Mm.
He was completely shocked, and he was pointing at my sister's ear,
Mm.
and he just took the coin from her ear,
Mm.
and it was like, it can be possible, it can be
Mm.
possible. So I was pretty young, and I remember when my dad took us from my grandparents. um well, before, my grandpa, brother explained me the methods,
Mm.
step by step, everything with the details. Now you have to do here, you have to hide the coin right there when they are looking at the table, you have to.
Mm.
So everything. So then when my father was at home, I asked him, can you show to my dad, the miracle of the coin? And he was performing, and I was trying to find my, yeah, now the coin is right there, and now he's hiding the coin, and now he's pointing at this place, and the coin is going to be the. So, and after this experience, I
Mm.
felt the same. I felt like everything was like exploding inside of me. And it was very, very powerful. And what I thought, it was like there were like different TV shows about
Mm.
magic in Spain, because since we have Juan Tamariz and other magicians like Pepe Carroll, they got like very famous in Spain, or Anthony Blake, a mentalist, or
I think you're really lucky with that. That in
yeah,
Spain is actually one of the few countries where the magicians who are on TV are also the ones that are actually really good.
yeah, yeah. Actually, for example, Ascani had, in the 90s, like a couple of appearances on TV. He
Mm.
was performing like really good magic as well. So he was well known locally in Madrid,
Mm.
but yeah. So at this moment, when magic was quite popular. So many people were trying to invite other magicians on to TV. So they
Mm.
were like a lot of pretenders. Do you know
Ah,
Yuri Geller?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he had a moment on his magic career where he used to say like things like, I really have magic powers.
I know. He used to claim he could really do those things. And then I
So
believe there was even one TV show where someone told him that's bullshit. I think it was James Randi who told the show it's bullshit. He can really do it. Just give him this, 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 and this, and he won't be able to do it.
yeah, totally, yeah. The thing is, um, when my grandpa's brother explained me the thing, the miracle of the
Mhm.
coin, I understood. I was pretty young, but I understood that I really needed to show everyone, like it was completely different. I didn't try to fool anyone. I was trying to do something else, and it was inside me since I was, very, very young,
Mhm.
and I realized later, when I was, maybe 15 or something like that, that they were like other magicians talking about the theory of without secret we wouldn't have magic, because
So did anything change for you after finding out the secret? Like, did you get a new appreciation for it at that age?
yeah, because secrets are valuable, and when you have a secret, you have something,
Mm.
and there's an idea that that blew my mind, sorry.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain myself in a proper way, but I'm gonna try it. Okay.
Mm.
So when you have a secret, and this secret is actually a secret for other people, you don't have anything,
Mm. Yeah.
but actually you have something, and actually you have more than than the rest. you know. So
Mm.
so the thing is, you have like an invisible thing. It isn't it isn't something invisible. It's like you have something that the rest of them. But the thing is, it isn't like, well, the rest know that you have something, but they don't
Mm.
know
Yeah,
what
they
what
don't even
what
know
what
this
it is.
knowledge exists.
Yeah, so this is even more powerful. So
Was
you can play with this, sorry, you can play with these three statements, like
mm.
the secrets, and in the middle, when they know you have a secret, but they don't know anything related to the secret.
Mm.
When you have a secret, but they don't know you have a secret.
Mm.
When you have a secret, and maybe they can know something about the secret, but they don't really know. For example, when you do a poker demonstration, and you show, for example, the deals part, but they don't know anything about the stacking
Mm.
or whatever. So yeah, go.
Yeah, but that's the same thing. Like, I realized a few years ago that even we as magicians, we learn techniques which people don't even know about. Like, they cannot even conceive of them. So we learn this thing like a palm or a double lift or top change. But these are tech or a pass, but these techniques are so secret that people don't even know that they would exist. So if you don't flash, they're not even ever gonna figure it out because they don't even know these things exist, right? So then already because they don't know, we're already having multiple layers of a secret.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, Henning Nelms used to say something on his book, you know, the
Mhm,
Magic and Showmanship.
mhm,
Very interesting, uh, like, like this believing, you know, well, the feeling of magic should be should be should be forever, you know.
mhm,
But like the deception should be just for the theatrical concept, you know, a context, you know,
mhm,
like if they go home and they really think you have magical powers, you know, you have a real problem. So that's why I do like these three statements, you know, of having a secret, because if they know that you as a
mhm,
magician, you know, like this discipline, you need a secret to develop your discipline, you know, your
mhm,
magic. If they have this, they are going to really appreciate your art. But
mhm,
during your show, they don't really know even that you have secrets, you know, because
mhm.
if you don't make any reference to it, it's like, oh my god, you know, it's like.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can try to reverse this, but
Mhm,
that's my conception. My conception is like, I am not a magician. I'm an illusionist who performs magic, because I found like illusionism, magic, or sleight of hand,
prestidigitation.
prestidigitation or
Mhm,
sleight of hands. They're different. I mean, for me, illusionism is it's like something different, you know. But actually, in the at the end of the day, everything is very related. But the point of view of the person who is on the stage, it's
mhm.
completely different, you know. It isn't the same a magician than an illusionist. And in my case, I recognize myself like as a illusionist who performs magic, you know. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I have the same thing. I think I already very early said to myself, you know what? I don't need to have someone believe that this is real and go home believing it's real. But I just want them to believe for just 3 or 4 seconds that what they've seen is genuinely real magic and that there's no way possible in the world that this could happen. And then whatever happens after that happens. But then at least they had that one experience, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's like you told me this multiple times, but that quote with which Anthony Blake ends his show is very interesting because of that. What was it again?
The what? Sorry.
The
Ah,
quote with which Anthony Blake.
yeah, like everything is like a product of your brain. You know, like
Mhm.
don't overthink it. You know, it's
Yeah.
like everything is like a product of your brain. You know, like
Mhm.
of you. I don't know. In my case, I really appreciate this quote
Mhm.
because oh my god, it's and
But I
actually.
appreciate the quote as well because it also gives him an ethical reason to, in the show, make people believe he can genuinely do it, which then, of course, improves the deception. But then at the end, he says, "Oh, by the way, everything you've just saw is just a product of your imagination, of your brain. Nothing is real." You're like, "What?"
Yeah, it's yeah, because at the same time it's like, huh,
But that
everything
is.
has been, there's
Mhm.
like a bigger structure of the show, and everything has been like a magic trick. What what is going on here?
But at the same time, it's also very poetic, right? Because in life, we very often believe in one thing, like this thing, our worldview is true. My God is the real God. My worldview is the right. My political view is the only one that should exist. All the other ones, right? But there's many ways of viewing the world, many way, and all depending on your situation. So in some way, it's very poetic because he just made you believe for an hour or 2 hours that this stuff is real, and then all of a sudden he says, "By the way, nothing is real." And you go like, "Yeah, but but what? Because now I have a part of my brain that believes, experienced this, that believes this is definitely real, and the other part that says it's not. What is true, right? So, and that's also something that magic can do. It can make us realize that all those opinions that we had as a child or as an adult and said, this is true, I can do this, I cannot do this, I'm good at this, I'm not good at this. It makes you question also maybe, oh, but if this is not true, then what's true about those things I thought about myself or the world?
Yeah, totally. Well, I found like the relation between the effect and phenomenon and the three
Mm,
it's statements of, for example, improbable, impossible, and incredible. Like
mm,
that's something that I talk about in my book, in Chelsea. Um, very similar to this kind of things that we are
mm,
talking about, because in my opinion, today we are trying to give people like visual pictures, or we have to create, like very sensitive moments and everything. And it's
mm.
it's it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you really want to move something inside the spectators, but what do you want to tell them? And no
Exactly.
one and no one is like, as in my opinion, is like, we are very focused on the effect, we are very focused on the methods,
Mm,
but we don't talk about what we really want to talk. So why don't we try to talk about, yeah, how could I express, my
mm,
idea, my philosophical idea of
mm,
freedom through magic? Yeah, they are not going to get the idea from my
mm,
magic, my piece of magic. Yeah, but it doesn't matter, you are trying to express yourself through this piece. So only people who study your piece of magic, deeply, from your I don't know, your book or whatever, they are going to learn it. When people were listening, Mozart's music or Beethoven's music, they
mm,
didn't know anything about, I don't know, for example, Furelli's
mm,
piece of music. They didn't know anything. They were saying, "Oh yeah, it's amazing, one of the most important pieces of music ever." Yeah, but then you read that it was a very important woman in Beethoven's life, and we really don't know anything about her. Many people
mm,
think it actually he wasn't Elise, it was Therese. There are like many theories,
mm.
so there's a background. Where's background in magic? Where is background in magic? It's like, it's like, come on.
It has a big background, but I it seems to me that magic, in comparison to other art, sort of has this weird idea that we're all chasing after success and fame, and that all magicians just try to outdo each other, which in some ways is true. And every magician, when they know a few tricks, they print a business card, make a website, start performing, start calling themselves professional magician. We go here, we go there, and they haven't learned the tools of the art. They haven't learned how to express themselves properly. They haven't gone deeper. It's just, hey, here's a stripper deck. Here is a Svengali deck. Here is a trick with double lift, which you can't do properly, but you can get away with it. Okay, I can do these three things. Now I'm a professional magician. And I've seen this at like conventions many times. When I was trying to be nice to someone, I was chilling with some cool people, and there was some guy who asked him to come over and show us something. He was like, "Yeah, but I can't. I don't have gimmick decks on." I'm like, what? You don't have gimmick decks on you? What do you mean? Like, here's a deck of cards. Show me something. No, I can't. They're not gimmick, dude. And then later you see him adding you on Facebook, and he's marketing himself as a professional magician. And like, professional, you're like a carpenter that doesn't even know how to hold a hammer. How can you call yourself professional? You don't even know how to use your tools. And I don't know, man. Like, maybe the problem is with the person, but it's also just in magic. Like, we have some culture that we all need to be professionals, and we're chasing fame, and we want to be famous and well known. And I think that's also where your problem is coming from, because we're much more interested in the reaction that the audience is going to give to this piece than that we're interested in what we're actually saying with the piece.
Yeah, but imagine, someone who wants to express his inner world,
Mm,
and he's working on his idea of freedom, his
mm,
idea of love or whatever, and then he creates the prepared deck of cards, or the gimmick coin or whatever,
of course.
and everything is prepared, but there is something behind,
But there's a difference between doing that with the intention of I'm gonna do a Svengali deck because this expresses my feeling of love for example, because first of all I see all different people and thing, and then you fall in love, but then maybe you break up and then you look around and you see the person that you broke up with everywhere and it just hurts you inside. That can maybe in this, I don't know, in a Svengali deck. And if you do it with this intention, very cheesy by the way, but if you
Mhm.
do it with that intention, you can that's something different. But the intention a lot of people do it with today is just saying I want to be famous, I want to be known, and it's just narrating what they're doing. Now you see this card, now we cut, and now you see all these cards are the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's something as well. Very, for example, there's a magician from the south of Spain. I think he's from
Mm,
Granada. Well, he used to live in Granada. I don't know if he was born in Granada. He
mm,
was called Miguel Aparicio,
okay.
and he made a present to Miguel Ángel Gea.
Mm,
He gave him Las Dimensiones del Tiempo, Time Dimensions. It's a beautiful routine,
okay.
you know, and he talks about the present, the future, the past,
Mm,
and another an oniric dimension,
mm,
and this piece of magic, is like very symbolic, and
mm,
and you don't realize that you are seeing an assembly, it's
mm,
it's a totally different thing, very
mm,
poetic, very, it's
mm,
beautiful. So it reminds me, like René Lavant's magic, it's like very, very strong, very deep, and he's giving you, a way, how he sees, life, and his
mm,
points of view. And yeah, of course, he wanted to say, like, look, I'm an artist, I'm not a
mm.
magician, I'm an artist. So that's why secret is important for me. And
But
it was
that's
like, oh
that's
my
also
god.
the question then. Like, do we say we're not magicians because a lot of people have degraded the name magician to such a thing that it's a joke?
No, actually not. The only problem is, um this is going to sound very radical, but
Mm,
it doesn't happen with English. But for example, with Spanish comes from Latin,
mm,
and at the same time, Latin comes from Etrusco and other
mm,
Indo-European languages, So this kind of languages, every single word, has like different parts,
mm,
and the meaning of the words are very important because of the evolution, the meaning, the symbolism of the words. So the meaning of magic, as a discipline now, has a connotation,
mm,
that actually in French is uh, la magie blanche. In Spanish, la magia blanca. In English, it would be the white magic,
yeah,
because black
exactly.
magic it's related
Mm,
to something
to
dark,
voodoo
and
and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. So prestidigitación,
Mm,
this word presti means like the speed,
mm,
um digital is like the fingers, it's like
mm,
fingers moving very fast, so this word was used for actually for French magicians, in the past, for this kind of magicians who used to travel around Europe doing manipulation because
Mm,
they had like very fast fingers and they could hide coins, cards, balls, whatever, cigarettes.
mm,
So in my opinion, it's very important to give, you know, words, you know, a
mm,
good meaning. So that's why sometimes I get so angry, you know, with some postmodernist people. You know, it's like,
mm.
get out of here, motherfuckers. You know, it's
Don't
like,
use this word because this word offends me.
yeah, everything is about feelings. And
Mm,
what about real reality? You know, what about the reality? So yeah, if people feel, you know, like, yeah, this magic trick is very powerful because yeah, but there's an anticlimax here, and an anticlimax is when you have two effects, and the first one is more powerful than the second one, and you
mm.
don't have any motivation in the drama, in the effect, or
Exactly.
whatever. And yeah, but I like it because I feel better doing it like this. Okay, you like it, but please, it's it doesn't have anything to do with me, you know.
Mm.
So maybe it's a different conception, but I am very grateful that Ascanio put all these things, you know, on the table, you know.
Yeah, but that's a good thing to think about because it's yeah, I feel better doing it. Like it's like, yeah, do you feel better or do you just feel more comfortable doing it? Because that's the same problem with changing all those words. It's just that I don't feel comfortable with this word. Well, maybe instead of saying people shouldn't use it, you should discover why you feel uncomfortable with it. Because apparently, because of your uncomfort, there's some reason in you. There's something either wrong with you or there's something that you're not facing. Let's put it like that. There's something you're not facing which you maybe should deal with because it makes you a better person, teaches you more about yourself. So rather than to say this is I feel uncomfortable doing it, just face it. You know,
Yeah,
you're gonna learn something from it. It's not gonna turn out bad. It's also what Joseph Campbell says. He says the cave which you fear most holds the treasure you seek.
yeah. Well, I'm not here to talk about, for example, politics, or to talk about football, or to talk
No.
about,
But let's say in
but
magic, that's the same way, right? Because
yeah, yeah. So sorry, go, and
mm,
then I will
no,
finish
go,
my.
you go.
Sure.
Yeah, go.
Okay. What I wanted to say, it's like, I'm not here to talk about politics, football, or other things, you know. But
Mm,
in my conception, you know,
mm,
I I designed a system of a thinking system, you know.
mm,
So I try to organize my ideas, you know, and I try to transmit these ideas in a way. So
mm,
if I, for example, in my book Chelsea, I say, in my opinion, it's better to do good magic than finding a name about if we are doing something that it's art or it isn't.
mm.
Because
Mm.
if we don't do good magic, it is an art for
It's still
sure, you know.
shit.
Yeah, of course, you are the shitter.
Yeah, but in
So
some way, that's also where you draw the line for art because you could also say that a child drawing on a piece of paper could be art because it's completely original.
yeah,
It's good art,
so
that's a different conversation. But
yeah, so I say that because the same argument, you know, the
mm,
same thinking system is applied in my life. So
mm,
what I think of magic is because what I wanted to transmit, you know, what I wanted to share, I thought, you know, or I felt that it would be better transmitted through magic, because sometimes
mm,
I take my guitar and I write a song. Sometimes I just write a poem, or just a story. I'm working now in a novel, you know,
mm,
and I'm writing a book, and it isn't related to magic. It's totally different, you know.
mm,
So yeah, I feel I really want to do like many different things, you know. So when I have some arguments with people, you know, I used to live in a commune, you know,
mm.
you know what it is?
Mhm.
A community is a house with many, many people from different places. And the first rule in there was like, you can have all your or your causes, you know, like they were people who were like anarchists, they were people who were like super feminist, super blah 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 blah. But the first rule was like, forget everything you have in your mind and try to be a good person.
Mhm.
So this is, you know, the resume of my of my conception. Like,
Mhm.
try to do good magic, and then we will see if we are able to do good magic. Then we will see if we are able to go farther. But first of all, try to do good magic, please.
Mhm.
Don't tag with me, you know. Don't tag with me, because it's very easy to say, look, you don't follow any system,
Mhm.
so this is very poor. So
So
in my opinion,
what is good magic to you then?
what is good magic for me? That's a good question. So first of all, I think this is not like what is good magic, what isn't good magic. For example, if I ask you, this is like when you study law, you know, laws, you know, I was in the first year of the university, and the professor said, is it a good thing or a bad thing killing someone else? You know, and the silence came, you know, to the class. And someone said, you know, like, depends. And the professor said, depends on what?
Mhm.
Self-defense or whatever, you know. So there are like many, 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 many things. So what I'm saying here, it's like, you grab you watch a magic video, you know, of a
Mhm.
magician performing. If this magician defends that it's art, I'm going to ask him. That's very easy, you know, or good magic or whatever. But if he
Mhm.
says this is art, I'm going to say, okay, what is art for you? Okay, forget
Mhm.
magic, but what is art for you? For example, Velasquez painting or Picasso's paintings. Okay, do you really think you can compare your magic act with that? Yes. Okay. Let's talk about the inner life of the thing. You know,
Mhm.
you have developed this. Maybe the construction can be improved. You know,
Mhm.
this is something that, yeah, maybe you like more this technique, this other, but maybe there are something like very objective, like, look, you are doing a technique and there isn't enough space between the method and the resolution of the effect. So
Mhm.
you should put like more space. There should be like more space to do it stronger, you know.
Mhm.
Let's go with the external life here. Okay, it wasn't clear because these techniques
Mhm.
aren't giving you enough freedom to show this, or you're not respecting the aesthetic, blah, blah, blah. Let's go with the proposal. What do you want to transmit? And then the cricket. Crick, 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 crick. Nothing. So do you really think this is art? Do you really think this is good magic? So my answer is, good magic, in my opinion,
Mhm.
is when you find, you know, good magic appears when you find, you know, the balance
Mhm.
between what you want to transmit
Mhm.
and the tools to transmit this
Mhm.
with the minimum, okay,
Mhm.
but being enough.
Mhm.
It means you can be like very baroque, you know. Do you say baroque?
I don't know.
Baroque, like, you can be like very complicated in the methods, you know. but but trying to transmit what you really want to transmit, you know.
Mhm.
If you get out of the idea, or you put things that doesn't match, or whatever,
Mhm.
you're you're putting the attention out of the middle point, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, so in my opinion, that's It can be, you know, something similar to good magic. It's difficult to define. Now this is good magic, or but yeah, because
Mm.
you have to analyze like concrete examples. You know?
Yeah, like what I'm hearing for you is that you, instead of saying this is good magic, this is bad magic, you rather look at someone doing this performance, and then you look at the different aspects of his performance to rate whether it's good or bad magic. So, for example, if we take Ascanio's conception, you're looking at, okay, so how big is the difference between the initial and the final situation? But at the same time, is he using his optimal tools that he has to showcase his difference? And then also at the same time, if he's showcasing this difference, is he using time misdirection correctly, or does it rather become a parenthesis of forgetfulness, which works for him in a negative way, where the audience has forgotten the card and this weakens the effect? Right. So you're rather looking at, okay, we have these tools. Is he using all these tools effectively to create the strongest and best effect possible, while also transmitting what he wants to say in the most minimal amount of way? So we're not gonna give you an entire 5-hour lecture of our opinion about love, but rather we're gonna give you one or two sentences which make you think about love in a different way, or at least show you a simple way of how I think about love.
Yeah, of course. Something that I learned from Miguel Angel Gea was,
Mhm.
from Gabi as well, was when someone shares something with you, he's putting on you all his expectations, you know. So he's giving you something important.
What do you mean? He's putting onto you all his expectations.
I mean, like he shares this with you because his confidence, you know, like he thinks
Mm.
that you can give him something good, a good reaction. I'm not saying like, hey, I'm going to show you something. It's like, hey, what do you really think? Do you think I can so he really thinks, you know, he's putting on the expectations like, I think it can be, you know, like affordable, you know, we can find something good here. I don't know if it
Mm.
makes sense. So something that they taught me was like, first of all, try to think with the same system that the other person uses, and then compare it with your system. So first of all, you're thinking like the other person thinks, and then you're comparing it to your system. And the contrast, what you find in the middle, is something new. And
Mm.
sometimes what is in the middle gives you something, you know, pretty clear about the good things of the other person and your good things, you know.
Mm.
And these contradictions, you know, there's something very funny because Gabi was, you know, like a master with contradictions, you know.
Mm.
He was lecturing once. I think it was like the first time or the second time that I saw him, you know, on a lecture. Oh, good one. And he was lecturing, and he got angry, saying, and I don't know why I got angry. I'm getting angry now, but basically I can't stand these people, you know, doing magic, like counting all the time, car. I'm very slow with a rhythm. They don't know why they they are looking for, blah blah blah, and it's like so then he breathes like this. Okay, I need to relax. Let's go with another thing. Please, can you name any number, whatever you want? And the spectator said 28. And he said, 28? Yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we were laughing like he was like 30 minutes, you know, he gave us like a 30 minutes speech, you know, shitting on all these magicians, you know, doing like this kind of, and then he asked for a number. It was 28, and okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. so so he
That's
was
also a beautiful presentation because you're doing a counting trick, and your premise of your counting trick is how much you hate counting tricks, right?
yeah, it was fucking amazing. And but yeah, he was really good with this kind of contradictions because he did it in the way that he would do it, you know, like
Mm.
in a different way, you know, like with rhythm, respecting some pictures, you know, like his waitress
Mm.
theory, waiters theory, you know.
He was
So
just being himself, you know.
Hmm. So yeah, yeah, it's Gabby.
Fucking Gabby, man.
Yeah, yeah. And what about you? What do you think? How? Because sometimes I don't know if it happens to you, but sometimes we don't know why, but there's
Mm.
something that we see in that when we read a magic book, you read it and you say, I don't know why, but I think it doesn't work. There's something here that doesn't work. How do you
Mm.
handle this? How do you what kind of process do you follow to get what is wrong in the
It's difficult because actually reading a magic book, you should always assume that everything in there works and that it's perfect, and that if it doesn't work, you're doing something wrong. And then I believe that you could make everything work, because if someone had this idea, then it's definitely possible, right? Especially if you wrote down a method. Um, so very often you're doing something wrong, and you shouldn't blame the magic book or the person who wrote it down, but you should blame yourself. Which in general in life is a better way of living than blaming everyone else, because you're never going to change something. But that aside, I don't know, man. Just I think for me, a better question would be: this is a good trick which I want to add to my arsenal or not, because there's just some things which I read and think that's cool, that's funny, that's cute, um, but it's not great. Like I read this interesting thing from Percy in a Dutch magazine. He has this Percy Diaconus trick where you make like a revolver of playing cards, like a gun, and you have someone
yeah.
pick a card, and they remember this card, and then you take a joker from the table, which you put in the bottom of the gun, and you flick it, and then their card shoots out of the revolver.
Peter Keynes, yeah.
And that's it's a fun idea to read. It's exciting, but it's a cute trick. Like you can already see when the audience sees that there's not much meaning to it, there's not much impossibility, but it's fun, it's cute. Wait, how did you do that? And it could be a fun way to find four aces, for example. But that just comes down with experience. If I think of doing things enough for audiences and reading a lot so you can compare it to other things, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you really read something and you can either see this doesn't work or they didn't think about this. But I very rarely have that. I just always read something assuming that it's perfect. But then at the same time, I want some sort of time frame of history that if I read it and I think, there might be a better way of doing this, then I would look at, okay, so this book was written in 1950. A better move would be this move, which was developed in 1970, got published for the first time at least. So then I can safely assume that the method I came up with or the move I visualized with this routine might be a better way to do it. Because the author simply didn't have access to the move. I might be wrong, but that's my audience is therefore to decide that. So I would very often just take a trick from a book if I like the idea, if I like the concept, if maybe it expresses something that I like and I see myself performing it, and I just go out, perform this trick first exactly as it was written, because then I can learn from it and there's definitely lessons interwoven within the trick. Then I can see, well, for me, it would work better to do this or this or this, right? So if we're looking at Ascanio's structure for learning magic, right? Like first we're reading the effect, then we're practicing the effect, and then for me, I sort of then of course I go to reading it again and to then practice do the corrected practice. But then I sort of go out to perform, and then I sort of go back into the structure of reading it again and doing this corrected practice, because I'm going to think, well, how could I do it? And that keeps looping on until at one point I think this method works best for me, and then of course I go to the mastery phase that Ascanio talks about, or is the phase for perfection, and then like where everything becomes second nature, the pattern, the techniques you don't have to think about anymore. You can be fully present with your audience until at one point you have perfected the routine, which is very rare because Ascanio said he has like 4 tricks like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something interesting as well about trying someone else's material, like, because, for example, when I was reading Dave Campbell's material,
Oh my
it was,
God.
yeah, it was like, yeah, I, I I've never, you, I felt like I wouldn't use this technique, ever. Uh, but I knew, it could work, and actually I knew it worked
It's,
because,
dude, the technique he uses, for example, in the cards across. I mean, when you read it, you think like, wow, that's pretty difficult to do, but it's perfect.
yeah, of course, that's where I go. It's like everything is performable there, and everything is, when you read it, you really know that he was performing everything
Yeah,
live, and it's,
which is something you don't necessarily have with Marlowe. When you read Marlowe, you think, well, maybe he just came up with this and put it in writing.
maybe he someone else told him, I had an idea, and he said, okay, what idea? Yeah, have you ever tried? No, I don't care. I'm gonna. No, 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 nothing. I didn't say anything. This, no, this is nothing. Yeah, this is nothing.
I mean, of course, we can never know that for sure,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, like looking at that, like from that perspective, I think you could also sort of see by how well seasoned the trick is, whether it was just thought up by someone and to just written down, like by the amount of subtleties that there's in there. Because very often, if you go out performing, you come up with all these kind of subtleties which will make the effect better and stronger. Where if you just do it for yourself, you don't have that so much. There needs to be a combination between actually rehearsing the trick, performing the trick, and just doing it. Like you need to have make some time with it rather than just coming up with it and that's it.
Totally, totally. Yeah, yeah. There are like many examples of this. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, many, many. In your opinion, what's your what's the most clear example of these kind of things? Like,
Well, one of my favorite tricks in Magic is the Time Machine by Roy Walton. But I think if you see Roy's version of the Time Machine, it's when you read it, it's just sort of like he had this idea for this trick, Time Machine presentation, awesome concept. He wrote it down. But then you read Card College, and you see Steve Freeman's version, which is a perfect comparison to it. Same trick, but Steve added all these little details. Like you said, we're going to use an ace of spades and we're going to introduce this ace because it's difficult for an audience to remember two cards, but they have to. But if we use the ace of spades, first of all, it's visual. It's very easy to remember. And if we introduce it and put some time between it, they're going to remember this card. Second of all, rather than just taking the second card, we're gonna do a selection because people will remove the option of a duplicate card from their mind because they just picked this card themselves. And then if we look further at the effect, we see that Michael Skinner then has some touches to clean the effect up, which is fucking beautiful. And did you ever see that touch, Skinner?
yeah, yeah, we were talking about it like some months ago.
It's fucking beautiful. And then you see like, okay, so Skinner had even more hours with this trick because Roy he gave us the blueprint,
But
right? And
but
then
comments for the people who don't know the touch, if you want,
sure.
if you.
So so if you don't know the time machine, that's your problem.
Well, try to describe it very very well, because many people is going to listen the audio, and they are not going to watch the video. So try to
Yeah.
describe it a little
So
bit.
basically, time machine, we have the ace of spades on top,
Yeah.
which you turn face down. Then someone says stop in the deck, right? So you remove a card, like let's say, for example, the four of hearts, which you then put into the center, but you leave it outjogged, right? And you tell them, you turn over the top card, ace of spades, you tell them, watch this moment very carefully with the 4 outjocked and the ace on top. As you push it in. It's very important in the bit. Now, are you ready to go back in time? You have the whole presentation. They say yes. You turn down the ace of spades on top, which you then put into the center. And as you just twist the ace, leaving it outjocked, you then show them that it has turned into the 4 of hearts, which you, of course, put in this in the middle and the beginning. And then back on top, there's the ace of spades. Effectively having traveled back in time. Well, usually the effect is stopped here and the cards are just taken out and turned down. But what Michael Skinner did is he, with his right hand, he touched the 4 of hearts on the corner. And then with his left thumb, he pushed the ace of spades on top, which is face up against the base of the right thumb. And because it's overlapping, as he takes out the 4 of hearts from the center and he goes up, those cards turn over simultaneously. Right? So in speed, it sort of looks like this, which I think is freaking beautiful because it's such a simple touch of turning down those cards, but yet again, it's like so simple. It's just
Lap.
really nice thing.
A beautiful way, a lapping way, lapping method, yeah.
That's but beautiful. that's just like some of those seasoned touches, right? Where we can really say, Roy came with the example, but then later Steve and then Michael Skinner, they finished it off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think he's really nice. I think we should talk about one day, because in the quarterly magazines in the first volume, Helder Guimaraes has an essay about time matching.
Very good article.
Experiment. Yeah, and he talks about this kind of details.
But I really believe it's a genuine small miracle, and if I want to show someone something very special, I just show them this trick, because always at the end, people are just sort of staring at you and they're left in disbelief. Like, what the, that's,
Yeah, I have a loving hating relationship with this effect, because I used to perform it, like many times, and suddenly I just realized that it was giving me more, that I was, dedicating to perform it,
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, oh my God, that's so selfish,
Mm-hmm.
So I said, get out of my life, So that's why I stopped doing it. No, but then I took it again.
Way, though, because I suppose that also the Mona Lisa is giving much more than it took to make it.
Yeah.
Just like David, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for example, then I saw Ryan Plankett's version. Do you know his version?
I vaguely remember seeing it, but I don't really remember it.
Yeah, I thought it was like interesting.
Isn't
maybe
it with
too much,
with the packet?
The what?
It's like a packet version, right? Like a packet trick version of it.
Oh, like the time matching version.
Okay.
It's the whole deck. There are like three things. Like the bottom card, the middle card, and the top card. They're like, and it was very interesting, very interesting. Of course, and he has a very nice handling and everything, and it's cool. But when I watched the video, I had that conversation with myself, saying, okay, I think it's the moment to retake this time machine by Steve Freeman, because for me, Ryan Plankett's version was like losing what time matching has, like simplicity. Obviously, Ryan Plankett's version is really nice because he can do it, because he's really nice, and and it's beautiful, you know, it's conceptual, and it's a very good exercise of, you know, of
Well, it's
handling and
very clever also, you
pictures.
know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's the simplicity of the original version is like
Mm.
superior of anything else, you
Yeah,
know.
definitely.
Yeah, not Tally-ho,
Not tell
superior,
you how superior.
superior.
What about bicycle though?
My favorites are Tally-ho. Tally-ho.
Or Pietnik?
Well, this is this brand to cut your drugs or
No, Pietnik is the brand Hofstadter used to use.
I'm joking. Where did you find it?
In some Dutch store, but they're actually made in Austria. So if you go to Vienna, you should also be able to buy them.
Are they good?
Eh,
Not really.
these are poker size. I think well, they're okay. They're the kind of shitty like this, but the finish is kind of interesting and the quality still feels good. But they're just really not that smooth. So I guess doing pressure fan sort of works, but not very nice. You know,
Oh.
very clumpy.
Hmm.
On the other hand, they're sort of nice to do doubles with. So, or seconds.
Well, have you ever had a Pavo Real deck on your hands?
A what?
Pavo Real deck, you know, like the Spanish Fournier deck, you know, like the best deck
Yeah,
ever.
but I had
in the
this. I had Fournier in my hand, but not the one you say. I think I just had the one with the plastic finish, which feels and handles like a plastic card, but if it falls in water, it's still fun. That one.
The others were like insane, you know, like
Really.
yeah, because I tried a Pavo Real deck like some years ago, and it was interesting because you could add like 3 or 4 cards in the deck,
Mm,
and you could fill the deck like a single deck, like an it
really.
was like yeah, it was like I don't know. And many people say like Spanish magicians improve their handlings
Mm.
because of the quality of these decks. You know,
Are they still being made?
no, they stopped making it. And actually, it was, you know, like for example, do you see this number 9?
Mm.
This is like the design, or you know, so
Mm.
Pavo Real was something inside Fournier, you know, so
Mm.
it was like a design. And we have like the 505, you know, in Fournier, but now they are like very, very, very hard deck. I like it, but not that much.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's at least cool that you guys have a deck like that, and that you sort of have a deck which is handleable and looks nice that people are familiar with because we don't.
Yeah.
So
Well, the design of the back it's nice. I love it. I actually love it, and the jokers are
jokers
really
are cool.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they have like this deck has like 3 jokers.
Mhm.
The design of them are equal, but one of them has like the worst of jokers with in red instead of black. But
Mhm.
yeah, but they are very, very nice. Yeah, I really like it, but they should, I don't know, improve a couple of things. And yeah, but in my opinion, Tally-ho is, for me, it's like something completely different.
Tally ho, man, because I feel bicycle dropped their quality. Tally ho, not really, you know. Still Pharaoh wonderful. They handle very well. Everything is amazing with them.
Yeah.
And then yeah, they're more expensive. Yeah, they're like €1, which is totally worth it because it's also gonna last you a week longer. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I found when I was living in England that buying tallyhos in England was even cheaper than buying bicycles in Spain.
Really?
In England, tallyhos are 250
What, £2 or
pounds. Yeah.
uh, that's
It's
good.
like
€3.
375
Yeah.
euros or 3 euros. Depends on the
Yeah, right now it's definitely
yeah,
€3, but
probably, yeah. But yeah, yeah. For me, it was crazy because I used to go to International Magic Shop, and
Mhm.
I had a very good relationship because I think I was like the most usual client, customer in there.
Really,
Yeah, actually, they loved me because I was buying books every month, or
oh,
I
that's a
was good.
great shop, man.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, mm, past time was different, but yeah, they were like, "Can I help you?" And I was saying, I would like to buy a new book. Okay, okay. This is a new book, and they were showing me, like new books, like the
Mhm.
new things. No, 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 a new book for. I want to grab something that I haven't read, but not an actual book, an old one. I was like, oh, okay. Do you have this one? Yeah. Have you read this one? Yeah. Have you ever? Yeah. Yeah. So it was quite difficult. And then after this, they decide to put like all stuff there, and it was amazing because they have
Mm.
like a lot of stuff there. um Actually, they have like many things, but the thing is, I've been living in London for 6 years, and I've been buying them books, like every month, or sometimes like 3 books per month or something like this. Buying deck of cards.
I mean, every time I go back to London, I go back to International Magic Shop, man.
Yeah. Actually, I'm planning a trip to London to grab my things, because now I'm in Spain and I have to take my things. I have
Mm.
some stuff on a friend's attic. Yeah, and I really want to go there and get some things because, yeah, they were very nice with me. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things there.
Pick up some good things for the library in Vienna.
Of course, guys. In a year, we are, well. We shouldn't say that, but I'm gonna say it. We are planning to move to Vienna in a year, something like that, or 1.5 a year. And we are working on the licenses to create like a
Library.
documentation. Yeah, like a documentation center, like a kind of library, but for people who wants to investigate, to do the references for their books. So so we want to do it on physical, like having the place, and virtual as well. So we are working on it, and yeah, I think it's can be a good thing. Can be very useful for magicians who want to.
Definitely. You can
Yeah.
also just come down there, get a membership. And then of course, if you want to study something, just go there, read the book, study the effect, or you can even use it for crediting or send us a message like, hey, this and this effect, could you send me photos of the pages? I could probably do that, and then you could see if it matches with something you came up with or not. I think having said that though, this is a good place to to end the episode.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much. See you next week.
Thank
Next
you
week we
guys.
have something interesting. Let's see if we can handle it. We are not going to say anything for the moment because we are closing the time. People who are going to be with us.
Mm.
Let's see if we can manage everything.
So that being said, if you enjoyed the podcast, please consider sponsoring us on Patreon.
Yeah.
We have some very interesting stuff going on Patreon. Also, a second special podcast on Patreon, sharing our own thoughts. Share us on your media. Give us a like, give us a rating. That really helps with the podcast. Also, you know what? Feel free to follow us on Instagram. Send us to your friends. Send us to your mom, to your dad, your grandma. Your grandma will definitely love us. I mean, look at us. And that being said, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. I'm single.
Yes, Grandma, he's single. Bye.